And one of the key reasons they're not getting results is the low carb diet. So once you realize that you need to work with your biology, you need to work inside your PCOS universe and not try to fight it, or not try to copy somebody who does not even belong to that universe, everything will start to click. So there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with your consistency, but there is everything wrong with your plan. Now that we've understood what PCOS truly is, I want to talk about the insulin resistance, which is the root cause of PCOS. And even for something like insulin resistance, it's different. You might think is, okay, now this is a common thread between me and my friend. It's actually not, because the way your body responds to insulin resistance is different from your friends. Now, I'm sure if you have PCOS, you've been asked to get your blood reports done. And when you do get your blood reports and a medical professional tells you that, oh, everything is normal, there's nothing fundamentally wrong there, I feel a lot of people are misled, because your blood reports might be normal, like your sugar levels might be normal, but if your fasting insulin levels are really, really high, then that is an indicator that your body is overproducing insulin. So what this really means is that your pancreas is producing insulin at night when you're sleeping, because of which next day morning when you get your tests done, the fasting insulin levels are high. And when the body overproduces anything, excess of anything is bad and it has consequences. And so that's why the effects of high insulin in your body leads to your body being more stressed and inflamed, because it's a cascade effect. High insulin affects other hormones, which affects other things. And eventually your body is not in a state of balance. Studies have shown that if you have PCOS, you might be dealing with selective insulin resistance, which is the kind of insulin resistance where the body picks and chooses parts where it rejects insulin. So for in PCOS, what we've seen is that the muscles are more insulin resistant, or they reject insulin function, but ovaries do not. And that's not a good thing. Both actually contribute to the symptoms of PCOS. And let's dive deep into it. So in the muscle cells, what happens is that insulin is the one which sends the GLUT4 transponders to the surface of the cell to receive the glucose. Now in PCOS, since your muscles are resisting insulin, GLUT4 never really receives the glucose. So the muscles don't get enough glucose. And the body does not understand what to do, so it continues to overproduce more and more insulin. As your muscles are not in a fed state because they've not received any glucose, they send signals to the pancreas to be like, hey, we need glucose. Can you send your messenger? Can you send insulin so that, we get glucose? But like I said, since the muscles resist insulin, glucose doesn't enter the cells at all. Now let's look at the ovaries for a bit. They respond to insulin like normal. But since your body is overproducing insulin, because remember we talked about how your muscles are rejecting insulin, this excess insulin actually triggers your ovaries to produce something called as testosterone. So in layman terms, your ovaries overreact to the excess insulin. So in your ovaries, we have something called as the theca cells, and excess insulin triggers these theca cells to produce more testosterone. Now this excess insulin also makes your ovaries more sensitive to producing the LH hormone, which is the ovulating hormone, which is called as your luteinizing hormone, right? So when we have high insulin and we have more LH hormone produced, we have even more testosterone created. So now the ovary has two pathways for overproducing testosterone. Testosterone is nothing but the male part of the hormone, right? And this is called as, and also known as androgens. So which is why your ovaries get into a hyperandrogenic state. So just to do a quick recap, selective insulin resistance in PCOS means your muscles are rejecting insulin, so they're not getting enough glucose, which is why you feel tired all the time. And your ovaries are overreacting to insulin and producing a lot more testosterone than your body can handle as a female. Now, the common advice given here is balance your blood sugar and everything will get fixed. But I'm sure you can understand that why balancing your blood sugar does not really affect insulin production. It's not a carb issue. Like, you could eat clean, you could even do the ketogenic diet, but that does not make your muscles more sensitive to insulin. That does not help your ovaries not overreact to excess insulin. The problem isn't glucose, it's how the different tissues in your body, like your muscles versus your ovaries, actually respond to the insulin. So here's how to detect if you have selective insulin resistance. So your blood reports say that you have normal sugar, but your fasting insulin is high. You're tired pretty much at 2 p.m. every single day, even though you've slept well, you've eaten a balanced breakfast, balanced lunch. You have insane carb cravings, irregular periods, acne showing up randomly, hair thinning, hoarseness of voice, facial hair showing up. So all of these symptoms point to the fact that your body is overproducing androgens. And that's happening because there is extra insulin, which is proven by your fasting insulin levels being high. Now, how do you fix this, right? So you need more insulin sensitizing strategies. This could include a few supplementation, but it definitely goes beyond just taking metformin. You need to focus on building muscle and ensuring that you have muscle activation going on. So stop doing just cardio. We need more hormone-aware nutrition, so eating foods that actually boost your hormonal health inside, not just drop the number on the scale. So calorie deficit alone is not the solution. And obviously better testing. So fasting insulin is also not a common part of the blood panel, and a lot of medical professionals don't test for it unless you ask for it. So you want to make sure that you're actually getting your insulin levels checked, not just your glucose levels. So this would include getting your HOMA IR test done, getting fasting insulin done, and getting these tests done on more of a recurring cadence so that you're able to keep track of your numbers.